Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bahashim Kodash and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations unto the 144,000 out there, brothers and sisters, listening, learning, and pushing His truth. Alright, so Lord willing, this video will be short and edifying. I just want to indulge into this topic here. Not exactly sure how I would title it yet, but basically going to the fact that, Esau is about to finally be judged for all his past deeds up to this day, So we're going to start off here in Genesis 3 and 9, because we're going to deal with him as the serpent first, right? Now it says, and the Lord power called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. Right? Now, according to Christian belief, they will believe that this literally means he was naked and whatnot, but it doesn't mean that. Right? It doesn't mean that. Because even when I go to Isaiah, if you know how to come back to this chapter, right, I'll just read verse 3 to cut the point, right? Isaiah 47 and 3. It says, Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Right? So obviously that's talking about Esau, right? But it's just to prove the nakedness, meaning to say what? The lie. So basically the things that you're hidden, even in Jeremiah 49 and it's Jeremiah 49 and 10, where the Lord say you make Esau bare. That is basically showing his nakedness, because especially for women, right? If they get caught, well, not I can't even say that much for women these days, because they just basically harlots. But you might watch a little 1-2 movies where when women get catch seen naked by unexpected people, they'll be ashamed or they will scream and try to cover up themselves, right? So it's basically with that sense, but not literally naked. It's with the sins, right, they committed, because remember they went and they inquired of the serpent, right, which was Esau Edom back then, right? So when they go back here, right, it reads in verse 11, it says, And he said, Who told thee thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? Yeah. So the Lord basically asking me, so you went and deal with these people that I told you not to deal with? Because when I say eat, right, according to Ezekiel 3, right, where the Lord is telling Ezekiel to eat up the roll, it means to study or learn, right? So, and this tree, it was not a literal tree, you understand? There's a scripture that say with the blind man, when the Lord healed his eyes, he said, I know it's in Matthew, I can't remember what chapter right now. He said, right, he seen men as trees walking in the garden, right? Well, not in the garden, but I talking about the garden for right now, for this this precept here, right? It say, Whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat. Yeah. So basically, the Lord say you basically went and deal with these people, right? You went and learn of their wicked deeds, and I told you not to deal with these people. You understand? So that is the Lord basically asking Adam. And he said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Right? So basically he's saying how she is the one that come and taught him, these things. Right? And verse 13, it say, And the Lord power said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Right? So the serpent basically, she said the serpent basically tricked her, into believing these lies, right? So how the serpent caused her to believe these lies, right? Because this way exactly. Let me see if I can find it first. Right. So basically in verse 22, even though this wasn't the specific scripture that I was looking for, but this will suffice, right? Because I was really looking for the scripture that says tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? But this one says in verse 22, I jump down, it say, and the Lord power said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever, right? So we know the tree of life is basically this truth, right? And the Lord say how we became like us, knowing good and evil, right? Because when I go to the previous chapter, it says what, right? In the last verse, in 25, it says, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed, right? So they had committed sin, right? But because they knew no sin, they haven't dealt with the nation yet, right? They were not ashamed. You understand? Because they had no knowledge of evil, they only know righteousness. You understand? So going back here now, right? The verse I was in, verse 14. I was gonna go to verse 14, but still dealing with verse 13. It's speaking about how the serpent, tricked her, right? Because the point I was getting at is basically, in order for the serpent to beguile Eve, he had to have a knowledge of good as well, right? Hence I was looking for the one that said, when the Lord tell Adam not to eat of the tree of knowledge of the, matter of fact, let me try and find it. Right, so the Genesis 2:16, it says, and the Lord power commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, right? So we know the trees in the garden is talking about the other nations, right? They're not literal trees, right? And when the Lord say you could eat, you may freely eat, meaning to say we could freely associate with them. You understand? Because these other nations, even though they basically had their own culture, right, of how they do things, right? It not disobedient to the point where Esau will literally go out of his way, like how Esau does go out of his way to make you go off. You understand? They come like these other nations were about their own scene then. You understand? So, and back then too, they wouldn't hate us, right? They didn't hate us. You understand? It's only Esau with that. Remember, he was created to be wicked. You understand? He was created to be wicked. So that is his mission. You understand? That was his mission. These other nations, they didn't hate us yet. You understand? So, verse 17, it say, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Right? Now, when this is the part we're talking about here, of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Right? We're talking about the super nation, these devils back then. You understand? Because why? As I mentioned before, they will go out of their way, right, to trick you, to stray away from your God-given heritage. You understand? Just that's exactly what the serpent did when he went to Eve. You understand? Because you never hear these other nations and them, they went out of their way to say, if you start to follow the religion, you go think. If you start to praise we God, all the thing, that kind of way. These other nations didn't do that. You understand? They didn't do that. But Esau, right? I say Esau, but really and truly, super nation, right? They will go out of their way to deceive. You understand? And we will get the Revelation 12 and 9 and whatnot. You understand? Just to prove these points. But I want to make sure and state that part, right? So I read the last part here in Genesis 3, verse 14. It says, and the Lord power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Right? So basically, you curse above all the other nations. You understand? It say, upon thy belly thou shalt go, and thou shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Right? Now, this is the first point here. You understand? Because Esau never been punished to the extent of what he's gonna get now in this time. Right? Where the Lord see curse him. Right? He basically say, well, he cursed above all the cattle and of every beast of the field, and upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thou shalt eat all the days of thy life. Basically confusion. Right? So even though the Lord according to Daniel 4:17, where he sets up the kingdom to the basis of men, that's where the Lord made Esau, right? Made the basis of men. So he's the lower he lower than these nations, right? That's why it say he cursed them above all the cattle and whatever it is, the other nations, right? So he brought Esau, Edom, lower than all these other nations. He worth less than these nations and them. You understand? That is what he did, right? So now, well, yeah, I don't need to go down any further in this, right? Before I go to the one with Cain, let me bring out the Revelation 12:9, right? Just to prove, is that same devil back then all the way to now, right? This is Revelation 12:9. It says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, right? Serpent from in the garden, called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels was cast out with him, right? The one who deceived the whole world was Esau, Edom, right? As I mentioned again, he go out of his way to deceive you. You understand? That is his goal. That is his mission. You understand? He's the devil, which means deceiver, right? And Satan means adversary, right? Let me also get this one here. Revelation 20. Let's see here. Yeah, 20 and 2. Right, and then I'll jump to 7. 7. Yeah. Right, so Revelation 20 and 2, and it say, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Right, what they're speaking about, right, when Esau went into the Caucasus Mountains, right, before Renaissance, right? So he was bound 1,000 years, right? So that proves, because you could obviously Google that history, right? You could Google that history, so you could it write in the scriptures, right? And then when they jump to verse 7, it says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city, and fire came down from the Most High out of heaven, and devoured them. Right? Now, when I think about it with this part, right? Because you see in verse 2, right, the Lord letting you know it's the same devil, right? You see it say that old serpent, the devil, Satan, right? Bound them 1,000 years. So it's that same man, right? So that is the other punishment that he got, right? Even though I kind of time jump past Cain, right? But I just want to prove it because of the same serpent part, right? So it's showing it because it literally said that old serpent. You understand? It didn't say another serpent or someone like the serpent, that old serpent, right? Because the Revelation 12:9 said that old serpent called the devil and Satan. So it's since back then, right? Alright. And then while I read verse 7, to 9, right, it basically showing you the Lord still let him out of prison after that 1,000 years, right, to deceive the nation. So he still went forth now and he do anything, right, which is a renaissance, right? So he do anything, right? So the Lord still hasn't punished him to the extreme for what he did, right? So that is the second part. Now let me get the one with Cain. Right, so there's Genesis 4 and 8, right? They're trying to reach to the point because this was after they presented the sacrifices unto the Lord and whatnot, right? So it reads, and Cain talked with his brother, talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him, right? So he killed his brother Abel, right? So when you read where it is John let me see, Yeah, John 8:44. It say, ye are of your father the devil. The Lord talking about the two-thirds, right? Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, right? And abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it, right? So the Lord basically telling the two-thirds this because the movement. They're like the father of the devil, right? Meaning spiritually in that sense, because they baptized with Esau's spirit, right? But the point that I'm trying to bring with this is that he was a murderer from the beginning, right? So it shows again reincarnation, right? But it shows again that it's the same person we talking about. You understand? Because Cain, we know Cain was the first one to commit or shed blood upon the face of the earth, right? When he killed Abel, right? And going back in Genesis 4 proves it, right? When the Lord speaks to him, right? So let me see. Verse 9, it says, and the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Right? So he's being disrespectful to the Lord, right? And with a smart mouth, because you really are supposed to be your brother's keeper. You understand? So the Lord said, and he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto me from the ground, right? So actually, let me read down somewhere. It say, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which thou opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy land, right? So the Lord say, where you do, right? Because your brother's not literally crying out to him, but you know, God, the Lord is all knowing. You understand? So he could tell. You understand? He could tell. So knowing that you killed your brother, right, which was the first murder, right? This is where the Lord is gonna curse him. You understand? So reading down, verse 12, it says, when thou tellest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth, right? And they could even tell with Esau today, right? Right, even throughout history, right? Fugitives and vagabonds they are, right? And verse 13 it says, and Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear, right? So that was the punishment that he got, right? To be a vagabond, right? That was basically the mark that he received, right? Verse 14 it says, behold, thou hast driven me out of this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive, and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone finding me shall slay me, right? So slack here. I mentioned the mark, but the mark ain't come yet, right? Now this was the punishment, but the mark is in verse 15 where it says, and the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slay Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Right? Now that was the mark. So it come like that mark was the quote unquote protect him, right? But it twofold, right? And here's why twofold, because it's to protect him, right? Because the Lord punish him for that way he do, right? For that what he did, right? But obviously he had to get much more punishment than that. You understand? But here was the funny thing about the mark, what people don't understand, is that this mark here, the Lord say, this mark was basically to quote unquote protect him, right, from anyone finding him and killing him. You understand? Why? Because the Lord is keeping it for this day. You understand? Because when you go to Obadiah, right, so there's the third part here showing you that, you know, Esau still in getting full judgment, right? But as we just say in Trinidad, you know, you curtail book, right? But when I go to Obadiah, when I go to Obadiah 1, it say what? In verse 3, it say, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, right? The pride of the heart, what he did, right? His pride puffed him up to the point where, because of that same said mark, right? Because of that same said mark, right? Even the scripture that says, well, let me finish up this and I'll go to it, right? The pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, right? Which also proves Esau Edom, because they were in Caucasus Mountain again. So whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, which is a satellite and whatnot, thence I will bring thee down, said the Lord. Right? So the Lord said He's gonna bring him down. Right? Which is what? In this time here now. You understand? And that's why I love to go to this Romans 9 and 17. The Lord said for the same reason He raised Pharaoh up, right? So that he might show his power. Because the Lord could have dealt with Esau then and there. You understand? Esau didn't even have to be born. He could have killed Cain right there for killing his brother, and that would have been the end of the story there. You understand? But the Lord said it's to show his power. You understand? And that was what the mark was really for as well. Right? Because nobody else, what the scripture say, vengeance is mine. Right? I think that's Zephaniah 3 and 8, they say, wait ye upon me. Right? And coming on to the last end of the precept, they say, vengeance is mine. Right? Which is the Lord. Right? And I will repay. Right? And who that vengeance is really for? Esau, Edom. You understand? That same devil. Right? So, this mark is really to, quote unquote, protect him, from anybody else receiving the God, receiving Yahweh Shai's glory then. You understand? So now I'll get a precept that I was thinking about. Right, this is Revelation 13 and 3. It says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Right? So this is our fourth time here. It's showing you Esau got spared basically. Right? Or the Lord just fattening up for the kill, which is a better term to use, right? Because the deadly wound was healed, right? Which was the ancient Roman Empire, right? Bringing forth what the newly revised Roman Empire right now. You understand? So this devil, even though he got a deadly wound, right? It was healed, right? Because the kingdom came crashing down, but what they came back into power, right? By basically, as it say, the newly revised Roman Empire, because they revisited the mistakes, and correcting it, right? But it's through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai that allow him to do so, because it's to fulfill the prophecy of 2 Ezra 6 and 7 to verse 9, right? You could go and read that, right? It says, in verse 4, it says, and they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast, right? The dragon that gave power unto the beast is what? The same ancient Roman Empire giving it unto the beast, which is now, which again, what I just said is basically, they revisiting their mistakes, you understand, and learning from them, you understand, and choosing their become like they're choosing their steps wisely. Then they don't want to make the same mistakes twice, right? So now we're giving strength unto the beast, right? It say, and they worship the beast, saying, who is likened unto the beast, who is able to make war with him, right? So this is the Lord's doing, right? Because nobody, that's why, and it leads me to the precept that I have here too, right? And I'll go to it, right? This is the Lord's plan that not Daniel, Salakia, Isaiah. This is the Lord's plan that these devils, been called this, right? So there's Isaiah 47 and 1. It says, come down and sit in dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Right? Why you call them a virgin? Because they've never been touched. Which goes back to the Obadiah, because they pride. Right? Because the Lord, which goes back to the blessing, right? They go rule with the sword, right? The sword is a blessing, and from the dew of heaven, and etc. Right? So basically they never been touched. Hence the scripture say, who can make war with the beast, right? America or Babylon, aka Babylon, has never been touched before, right? They have never been defeated. You understand? So this have much to do with their pride. You understand? Which goes back to the term that I use, where the Lord fattening them up for the kill. You understand? So it says, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right? So the Lord said there's no more throne. Right? Again, 2 Ezra 6 and 7 to verse 9. Right? So this bringing down of their stronghold here, right, is the end of it, right? So now let's try to wait, let me see if I had any more thing with you before I indulge into this part, Alright, so now I could go to this here now. There is Isaiah 34 and 5. It says, "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea," which is Esau Edom, right? By Greek for Edom, right? It says, "And upon the people of my curse to judgment," right? Who's the people of the Lord's curse? The same Edomites, right? Because again, through all the incidents that I brought forth, throughout the scriptures, and there's many more, right? But let me say 4 of the main, right? First, as here's the serpent, yours as Cain, right? I never went into to the one with Esau, right? But with Esau basically sold his birthright, but we all know that story, right? So that is the third one, and then the fourth one as them as the Roman Empire, right? So for all that they did, right, they still, and as I say, there's many more, because those are the major things, but there's still things in between, and many things that these devils did unto us, and the Lord never severely punished these devils for it. You understand? That is to tell you, right? So all of this now is where the Lord, basically stuffing the turkey. You understand? This devil is a turkey, right? But the Lord say what? "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my place to judgment," right? So we know that talking about Esau Edom, right? Because when I go to Isaiah 63, right, it says the same thing, right? They say, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save," right? So obviously we know this is Yahushua coming from Edom, right? With dyed garments from Bozrah, which is the head of Babylon, right? Well, not the head, but the capital, right? They say, and the Yapa too. Okay, the capital is where the most action really be. You understand? That is where you will find these devils. You understand? So you come like the Lord coming out like them action movie, and them where, the main character who went to do the killing now, they're walking out of that building, after they slaughter everybody in the house. You understand? Just so you have a shine moving, but obviously more magnificent. They say this that is glorious in apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, which is the chariots, right? It say that I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. Alright, and you can read down in this, because the scripture basically just going into, the Lord killing these Edomites, right? The judgment that he finally has for them. So this is all the things that they did unto the Lord, right? Because I was gonna bring it, right? All of this is for what? Verse 8 in Isaiah 34, it says, "For it is the day that the Lord's vengeance, and the year of the recompenses for the controversy of Zion," right? So all the things that they did unto us, you understand? The Lord finally is about to repay them for it, right? And everything this devil is about to get, he deserves it, right? Because why? Over all the years, which makes me think about this precept here, Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, right? It says what? "Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully setting into the evil," right? "Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with him that fear the Most High, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feared not before the Most High," right? And this is Yapa, right? Because his sentence, right? The sentence that he's supposed to receive, right, against his evil work, right? He hasn't seen it for a while. You understand? As I said before, the Lord just mark him, curse him, you know. The Lord even restore him when he was the ancient Roman Empire. You understand? So all these things, it to him it look like he, you know, the Lord soft, or he getting away with it, when really actually the Lord just fattening him up for the kill. Right? It come like you just stacking up your punishment, you know, stacking your tab. You understand? When you tell yourself, you know, the person being nice with you, or to them you look like they might get a little blind with the tab, you know, every so often you keep coming and taking drinks, shots, whatever it is, adding up your tab, you know, and you're telling yourself, you know, you and that person so good, right? Because our scripture that says that, you know, let me see if I could get it. I can't remember how it worded, but Lord, hopefully Lord willing, the Lord help me to find it. Yeah, Tawada Yahweh shared Psalms 50 and 21. It said, "These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. Right? But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes." Right? So it goes back to the same scripture, right? Because, right, the Lord, all the things that they do, and the Lord keeps silence. As I said, the Lord restored them as the ancient Roman Empire to the newly revised Roman Empire and other empires before as well, right? He cursed them as a serpent, you know, mark him as Cain, you know, but he never been dealt with, you know, to that point. And that was it goes back to the mark he received as Cain, right? Because if the Lord didn't set that mark upon him, right, long time he done dead. You understand? Long time he done dead. Because as I said before, the nations back then, they didn't even hate us yet. You understand? That only come forth with the curses. You understand? Where the Lord will cause us to serve our enemies, right? Because they're supposed to be serving us, right? But now, with that mark, right, it come like it stemmed from there, right? Concerning their pride. You understand? Because they never they don't have to worry about anybody slaying them. You understand? So they consider themselves now the only thing they have to worry about is the Lord, right? And yet still they still think the Lord, you know, water down, because as the scripture say here again, these things thou hast done and I kept silence, right? Because the Lord never really, you know, do anything so treacherous to them. You understand? Or so what is the right word, boy? Like where's a good word, boy? Like so dread unto them, and they don't never do anything so dread to them that, you know, they will fear the Lord, right? Which again goes back to Romans 9 and 17, right? The same reason he raised fear up, right? And I say, and thou thoughtest I would altogether such an as one as thyself, right? So they're thinking the Lord on board with their plans, you understand? With their wickedness, because, you know, we are the ones as people, you know, getting punished, right? These other nations, and then, you know, they're suffering as well. Obviously not as much as us, but they're suffering as well, you know. And this devil, you know, all these plans, you know, rolling smooth, you understand? So you thinking the Lord rolling with him, right? But the Lord say, I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. Before who eyes? Our eyes. You understand? Because the Lord gonna we see, I feel like I read that stuff and 3 and 8, you know, because the Lord say he will move them out of the way. Roughly paraphrasing, right? Verse 22 say, now consider this, ye that forget the Most High, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Yeah, because the Lord say, hey, consider this, you forget about me, right? Unless I tear you in pieces, okay, it have nobody to save you. You understand? It have nobody to save you, right? So let me see if I can get this off on 3 and 8, right? Because this is what the Lord tell us, right? He said, therefore wait ye upon me, said the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey, which is Esau Edom. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, which is righteous anger, even all my fierce anger, right? For all the earth shall be devoured with fire, with the fire of my jealousy, right? For then I will turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent, right? So they're gonna serve him with one consent, because we know the nations, it come like they're gonna revert back to the state where they were in the garden, right? After for that 1,000 years, hardcore slavery for them, cut us for all the things that they did unto us as well, right? Only Esau, Edom gonna get wiped out after that 1,000 years, right? But these other nations, they're gonna revert back to how they was in the garden, where they would know to fear us as even more so our heavenly power. You understand? Because when they read Malachi, I think it's Malachi 1, right, going down there, to the bottom where the Lord said his name is dreadful among the heathens, right? Because there was once upon a time where these heathens actually know the fear of the Lord. You understand? And they know not to mess with us. So far less in the kingdom, right? This is Isaiah 14:4. It said that thou shalt take, I read from verse 3, and it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord, in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, right? Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how had the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased, right? Because this is when the Lord, after this Zephaniah, the Lord said he take his vengeance upon this devil now, right? They no longer gonna be in power anymore, right? That's why the Lord say we're gonna give us rest from our sorrow, understand, from the hard bondage, right? So this devil kingdom is gonna be brought down, you understand, and no more, and never to rise again, right? Verse 5 say the Lord had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindered. Right? So this talking about this devil, and it goes back to the same thing I was saying with these nations suffering as well, but not as much as us, right? Because he ruled the nations in anger, right? Every covenant that he made with them, he broke it, and backstabbed them and all these things, right? So what the scripture saying now, the nations are mad, right? Verse 7 say the whole earth is at rest and is quiet, they break forth in singing. Why? Because the wicked is taken out of the way, right? This devil, is finally, out of power, right? As the scriptures say, when the righteous is in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. You understand? Even the trees and all will be happy, when we regain our kingly stature, right? And how we gonna get this kingdom here now? Right? Because we read these Zephaniah 3 and 8, right? We know, and we read the Isaiah 34, the Isaiah 63. So we know the Lord coming to kill these bastards, right? Which also will lead me to this precept here. Daniel 7 and 18. Right? This is the point. It say, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Right? So the saints of the Most High, we know the saints is Israelites. You understand? The nation of Israel. Right? So the saints, which is the children of the Most High, shall take the kingdom. Right? We're gonna take the kingdom. We're not gonna ask for it. We're not gonna beg for it. We're gonna take it. Right? That is why the Lord says in Zephaniah 3 and 8, wait ye upon me. Understand? Wait ye upon me. We gotta wait until the Lord come to do it. Right? Because the Lord wants to show his power, and he's gonna do it magnificently. You understand? All for our sakes. Right? There have been many fools who try to steal that glory from the Lord and try to deliver the people, of their own free volition. But they say free will, but we know it's no such thing as free will. Of their own volition, they go to they try to do it, but they've been killed. You understand? And the Lord had it set so, because why? It's not for you to do it, but for your house shy to do it. You understand? So I hope this lesson will edifying through the spirit and power of your Yahweh bashing your shy. I try to keep the video as short as possible, because this video could have easily been an hour, but I say Lord willing, it was edifying. And with that, I will say shalom and a bad babal to this place.